Anthony Adebayo. We off the record.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo, and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
Welcome. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Ain't nothing, just out here to record, record another episode of Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Sports Scotty B, man.
Nah, I will say that, just for the record, my hoodie is navy blue, and it looks really, really lighter than that.
Okay.
On film.
Yeah, it look like Notre Dame got different colors or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
but anyway, it's a lot going on. Of course, we got NFL schedules about to get released Thursday. We in the middle of the conference semis, XFL championship. You know what? We're gonna talk about that in a little bit too. But the XFL championship is this weekend.
Got the All NBA team.
All NBA team got released
tonight.
Yeah. So let's start with the XFL because you were highly disrespectful to the XFL. No. You were
a little bit. So DC Defenders and the Arlington Renegade.
Yeah. So it's Cowboys versus Commanders, but whatever. So
and that's Sunday, right?
That is Saturday.
Saturday. Okay.
So it's Saturday, and it's in San Antonio. I think DC is going to win. I think, and that would be great. Coach Barlow is the former Virginia State coach. Also played at Tampa Bay and Jacksonville. Won the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, and he's doing a hell of a job as a coach. Seen him when covering the CIAA when he won the championship and just covering a lot of the Virginia State games. I kind of knew what he brought to the table, but I didn't know it was going to be like this. I mean, they were undefeated most of the season. So that'll be good for him because that's putting HBCUs on the map anyway. But that's all fine and dandy. You was disrespectful to the XFL, man.
How was I disrespectful?
You said the championship game, the most that the ticket would cost would be like $15. And it's not $15, man. So I feel like the XFL is doing a good thing. So of course the tickets they're not going to be Super Bowl prices, of course, but I think you could get like a $500 ticket.
Yeah, and to our point, 2 months ago, you probably could call play with that ticket.
Wow,
you'll probably be invited to the back of the locker room. You'll get to warm up with the team. Hell, you might even get to eat dinner with the team the night before and go through the walk
right.
through.
So I'm gonna go. So while we're on the air, so the championship game tickets are starting at $25. So they're not $15. So they're starting at $25. But you know what? I think that's
a fair price.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. You want to sell as many tickets as possible, and yeah, this is like the third iteration of the XFL. The first time it was one and done with Vince McMahon. The second time it was, it stopped because of COVID. And now the Rock's taking it over. And I do, me personally, I think the XFL is more excited than the USFL.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like, and I don't want to, because the NFL is going to start, and I don't want to act like, because the USFL is closer to the NFL than the XFL, right? So I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying that the USFL is trash or anything, because you'll probably have more guys from the USFL and the NFL than the XFL, which you already got NFL guys, ex-NFL guys in the XFL. But after watching the season of the XFL, and then now switching to, because I think they're in week 5 of the USFL. It's like, I can wait till August.
Right.
It's just like, and I think that the XFL started at like a really opportune time, like literally a week after the Super Bowl. So people are like, we won our football. Now it's like, let's watch the NBA. Let's watch the NBA playoffs.
So right now it's an odd time, and you brought up the NBA playoffs, right? So typically most baseball fans don't really get into baseball just yet because you got 162 games to get into it. But you do have baseball. It is Major League Baseball. So you got a playoff. The playoffs has been really exciting. It's a lot of hidden storylines that we'll get to that it has made, I guess, the playoffs really interesting this year, in my opinion.
Right.
And then you got Major League Baseball, where it's, for all intents and purposes, has been a decent season so far. So then you have the XFL that's playing like third fiddle, to where, typically when I'm watching a game and watching the basketball game, I may be flipping back and forth between the baseball game, and then it's like, oh yeah, the XFL is on. And if something's at a commercial, maybe I'll go to an XFL game. So it's really hard. I think what the XFL is missing is that star that they can market. And I know that that's a little bit tougher because most of those guys are going to play in the NFL, but every league needs a face of it that people can get behind their season.
Right.
Whether or not it's not the person doesn't have NFL talent, but do they have a passing record? Is there a receiver that's having a really good season? Is there a running back that's having a good season? Is somebody out there putting up highlights that at any level are still highlights and are still good to make you draw in?
Right.
I think the nature of sports now, because of the gambling aspect and because of the fantasy sports aspect, is geared to be focused around the players. Like, people will always have their favorite teams, but they tend to tune in to where, okay, you're not a Warriors fan, but you're going to enjoy watching Steph Curry play, and stuff like that. So I think that's where, if they want to improve the league, they have to figure out how to get that draw player that makes you want to tune into the games to where you're like, this guy is going to be NFL ready, or people can start. Because that's the big thing with college too, right? You've got your college hometown, but then you got people that are real passionate about their colleges that they went to.
Right.
But one of the draws for a lot of the fans is looking at who can play at the next level, who's going to go to the NFL team, who's going to make the Cowboys better. If we can kind of tune into the XFL, because it's not going to be that rooted fan base that you went there. It may be a rooted fan base that they're in your city. Is who can we steal from the XFL to make us a better team? So they've got to figure that out.
And there's gonna be some guys, but I feel like it's giving the opportunity to guys that may not necessarily get that initial opportunity. Now, I will say I enjoy watching XFL games. I like their rules. I like the fact that they're different. You got 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, and I believe 4 point, right?
Yes.
Or is it 1, 2, and 3? Whatever. But for the extra point. But so regardless, I think that is pretty cool. I like the way they're doing the kickoff. That makes things a little safer. XFL is going to be, USFL is going to be more of your traditional football, and I give you one player that will probably be picked up from the USFL. He's the quarterback for the New Jersey Generals, DeAndre Johnson, number 1. And I don't know if it's just me, but this dude seems like he's faster than everybody that's on the field when he plays. And he runs. He's a quarterback, but he can run. And he runs hard. They just showed, I think a couple weeks ago, he ran over like this safety, and it was just like, damn. But eventually I probably get more into the USFL. Right now, it's just like, I'm trying, but
so you know what would help, and I can announce it now because we'll never get it off the ground. But I think fantasy sports helps that, right?
that's true.
You know, they really so the gambling, because one thing I found out about gamblers is they'll gamble on anything.
Absolutely.
As long as they can make money
Mm-hmm.
off of it, that will draw interest into the game. So you got one revenue there. If they figure out some market players that people want to tune in to watch,
Mm-hmm.
and then the fantasy to tie, maybe not the I've got to bet on every game type of guy, but
Yeah.
I want some sort of engagement, because I really think that the NFL has always had a huge audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever remember or recall in our lifetime
Right.
the NFL like just struggling for a fan base. The fan base has always been
They're always
there.
going to show.
But I think with the when fantasy football became popular, and it was dumbed down to you could be a teenager, it didn't matter what gender you were,
Mm-hmm.
it was simple to understand. I think football went to the next level,
And
increased with the offensive stuff too.
And you kind of get to know who the players are. Like you like a casual fan may not have known about Jared Goff, right? That he's in Detroit and things like that, or pick somebody else. What's the guy? David Carr or Derek Carr. They may not have known, just a run of the mill type fan, and like, no. But now you have people that never used to really watch football. Like he can't do this, he can't do that. His fourth quarter efficiency is XY. So it's just funny when you see those things, and I do think that fantasy football is the trigger for that, is what caused people to, because now you're doing your research, especially if you're in a competitive league, you're doing your research for whatever. You're going through the waiver wire, so I'm like, oh, who's this person? Now you're looking up, oh, this is Shane Vereen, and he, whatever. So,
but the other aspect of it is, I'll use you and myself as an example. Prior to fantasy football, if the 49ers were playing, I was watching. If the 49ers had a bye week, yeah, maybe you'll watch the highlights, but maybe you're not as in tune to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
When you're playing fantasy football, your week starts Thursday.
Right.
If you've got a player that's in that Thursday night game, especially if it's got big ramifications, you don't care what team is playing, but you are watching that player to make sure that they're getting the ball, they're getting the opportunities, they score. It's just a different way of engaging people.
Yeah. So I think that football is king, but I think USFL, their start time is they're going to struggle, because right now, so I did do some research, and I looked at like some of the ticket prices. Can you guess how much the most expensive ticket is for a New Orleans Breakers game?
The most expensive ticket for the USFL?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it got to be $150.
That's pretty generous. It's $40.
Oh, wow.
$40. Now, that's different because the XFL is a little bit more. I couldn't tell you exactly, but yeah, it's $40. And the XFL probably was the same. I can't remember, but I do know they had like $15 tickets in DC. And that's the other thing. The markets in the XFL, they're in bigger markets, and I wouldn't say they're in bigger markets, but they got some teams that have NFL teams in that area. The USFL is, I don't know. It's just boring. I'm sorry. They got to pick it up.
Well, it's equivalent to, I guess it would be the G League, and it would be the minor league system, right? Mm-hmm. So you can go to a minor league game and, $12, $13, take your entire family, and then the snacks at a minor league game, like you can give your kid $10 and they can feel like King, at the concession stand. So I guess it's all on similar levels. It is a good way because ultimately the kids, depending on the age, don't really care. If you say you're taking them to a USFL game and that's what they're into, they're going to feel like they're at an NFL game. Even though the adults can tell and some of the older kids can tell, but the younger kids, I mean, whether or not you take them to a minor league baseball park or you take them to the Nationals ballpark, it's typically going to be the same, depending on the age.
I'm gonna tell you now. I'm gonna have you do some research because when I found this out, this is just because with the Royals and stuff like that, talking to some people, the Savannah Bananas. Have you heard of them?
No.
Okay. The Savannah Bananas are a minor league baseball team. Right? And first of all, they have over 1 million followers on Instagram. So that tells you one thing right there, that they have a following. These guys, it's so crazy how they find so if you go on their Instagram and they'll have dance routines. So if you're the batter, you see the pitcher, the shortstop, the second baseman, the first baseman, and the third baseman. It might have the guys in the outfit, I can't tell. The catcher and the ump are doing this dance routine before he sends the pitching. You got your phone right there. Just go to Savannah Bananas on Instagram, and it is hilarious. Because I'm like, wait a minute. I said, are they really doing a dance routine before? So I mean, that is, you're gonna get fans that way, and somehow, some way, but they draw a crowd, and they for a minor league team have still there. I think they went like 2-3 straight years of sellouts. So I mean,
well, you think about it too, right? So I had the opportunity. It was they're the Fredericksburg Nats now, but at the time they were in Woodbridge. So when you go to a minor league game, the difference is the players after the end of the game, you can take the kids to meet the players, and they're going to take the time out. To autograph stuff. One of my friend's father, this is a story you don't even know. When he was young, so you got the Tidewater Tides. They're the Newport News team, and they're the farm team for the Mets. His father went to a Tidewater Tides game back in like the 60s. You want to guess whose autograph he was able to get?
In the 60s. Well, he didn't necessarily have to play for the Mets, did he?
Well, it might have been the 70s, but I want to tell you whose autograph.
Nolan Ryan?
Yeah, Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan was sent down to the minor leagues, played a couple of seasons down with the Tidewater Tides. He was able to get his autograph then. Happened to hold on to the ball. I had no idea it was going to be Nolan Ryan. I had a Nolan Ryan autograph.
Did he sell it?
No, he still
has it.
So when this story was going around, I mean, that had to be all of 30 years ago for myself. But at the time, and I mean, that was when I was huge if you know me, you know I've been into baseball cards and collectibles, and that's how I've kind of got started in the sport. So that was huge in the 90s, knowing somebody with a Nolan Ryan autograph, official autograph.
So and it's a similar story, but I don't think Steven Strasburg is as big as Nolan Ryan, right? I think we could all agree there. But he got sent down. This was last year. He got sent down, and he was playing for the Fredericksburg Nationals. And because I want to say the Fredericksburg Nats are they AAA? I think that no, AAA is the double A. No, double A. They're either double A or single A.
No, they're double A.
Okay, so he got sent down to them. And when I tell you that it was like you couldn't. First of all, it was a sellout, and he was pitched so it was wrapped around. You couldn't find parking, and he I think he pitched all of like maybe 1 or 2 innings. And it was packed, and he stayed around to sign autographs and stuff like that. But they ultimately had to get him out of there because they won. I mean, technically, he is like a local hero. They won the national. I mean, I'm about to say Super Bowl, World Series. So
yeah, and he came up in that system too.
Right.
Because I remember when him and Bryce Harper. I mean, this is old Nats. They came up in the Nationals farm system. I remember when Strasburg made his appearance.
I remember.
I mean, the Nats. I mean, it was crazy in the city.
Yep.
Trying to get tickets to that game, and everybody.
He
was a huge deal when he started. But that's one thing that you'll find at these minor league baseball games is you got baseball.
Yeah.
Just a wealth of knowledge of, hey, yeah, this guy, he's the prospect, and they're going to pull him up, and he can't really hit curveballs, but once he can figure out how to hit curveballs, he's going to go to the next level and stuff. And you get like really, truly guys that are in the weeds. And then to your point, what they're starting to do, and you see it in the NBA, and we leave this subject, you see it in minor league baseball, is when you're rehabbing. So if you've got like a big time star that, they're a pitcher, they just had Tommy John surgery, but then the team is expecting them back. When they go to those rehab stints, it is in AA and AAA. So you can look out if you're into that sort of thing.
And you just, I mean, at one point, the Braves the minor league team was in Richmond.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it used to get, you can plug me up, please?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that, I mean, again, like you said, you get lucky with the minor leagues, but forget that. NBA playoffs, I know you don't want to talk about this, so let's just get this out the way, right? So your beloved Knicks, hey, it's gonna be okay, man. It's gonna be okay. So your beloved Knicks are on the brink of elimination. I'm not gonna say what's gonna happen, but it's 3-1. It ain't over, right? It's never over until it's over. Do you feel in your heart of hearts that the Knicks can do something to get back into this series?
Yes, let me explain.
The fact that you said "let me explain" so fast means this is gonna be good. So
the floor
is yours.
I gotta have the floor or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I do believe that we can win this game.
Okay.
I believe as a fan in Jalen Brunson, and I believe in everything that he's selling. So where I'm kind of a little torn is I feel like Julius Randle, I don't want to say he's not performing. I think that he's taking an unfair amount of criticism for his performance.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think that we're utilizing him correctly. And I do feel like we are missing another player. So from a fan perspective, watching this series, what I've learned is Miami is just ready. They've taken every run that we've done. They haven't been rattled, no matter if we're up, if they're down, and they're getting the most out of their players that I've ever seen. Like, it's a lot of guys that have just really stepped up, and what it looks like, and hopefully we'll see the Knicks show a little bit of heart, is it looks like Miami wants it more. We were able to bully the Cavs, and we just are running into a team that is just as gritty, just as dirty, has just as much heart, and they want it.
That is true.
So for us to get this win, and I do believe that we can get this win, but it's going to come, right? It's going to come with a little self-reflection. It's going to come with a lot of gut check, and it's going to come with a lot of heart, man. You got to, those three things. The talent is there. Miami is not a superior talented team. They just execute. They've got a superstar that they execute. The players are playing. So the way that you combat that is you got to show up. You got to go mano to mano, and you got to figure out like what you got. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a little passionate with it.
No, that's cool. I'm listening. I'm just listening.
But I'm ready for. I'm looking at Jalen Bronson.
Mm-hmm.
Really proud of everything that he's done, man.
Yeah, absolutely. As you should be. He's an all-star this year.
Yeah, he's my guy now. You know, it took a second for me to buy in the way he's selling, but yeah, man, we gotta grab some heart, look down, and pick a few things up, and we gotta get it, man.
With all that being said, Heat in 5. I don't think that the Knicks, all those things that you said, I don't think that they have it. I think that the Heat are going to go into the Garden tonight, and they are going to play bully ball and out hustle the Knicks like they've been doing all series. Even a game that the Knicks won. You know, I personally feel like had Jimmy Butler been there, the Heat would have swept them. Now, there are a couple of things that you said that I agree with. Do the Knicks have more talent on their team? Yeah, because they got, pretty much most of their guys were drafted. So, yeah. Are they a gritty bunch? I would say so. I think that the Knicks are gritty. I've seen them play in person a few times this year. I think they are a gritty bunch. But what I will say is that the Heat have the best player in the series. In this series, the best player on the floor is Jimmy Butler. And they do not have not one answer for Jimmy Butler. Everybody got on Bam. He took it personal. And they have nothing for Bam. You know, so I think that we should still take a look at the coaching, because I feel like Tibbs is getting out coached by Spoelstra. And I would say I don't see what the Knicks can do tonight that they haven't done in the other 4 games. I think the only thing that's going to change is the location, and they've already lost the game in the Garden. So I feel like, you know what? Just for you, man. Just for you. What I'm going to do live while we in here is I'm going to text my brother and tell him to close y'all ass out. And I ain't being petty. I'm just, I'm just about to unplug my computer. Close the ass out. Y'all got this. That's it. And I give him the, you want to see? Yes.
So
with that being said,
so I don't have his phone number.
Are you gonna tag him?
I'm gonna tag his ass.
So with that being said, I do feel like I think that the Heat will close this out. I feel like one, they want the rest. They're gonna need the rest. Jimmy Butler still has the bum ankle, and at this time of the year, you want to just close him out. So that's how I feel. I know you don't feel that way, but the inevitable is the inevitable, sir. And I
got a prediction.
Oh boy,
I think it goes 7.
No way. So you think the Knicks are gonna win the next 2 games?
I think it goes 7. I think what we're seeing, and look, this has been done, right?
Absolutely.
We saw the Cavs do it against the Warriors.
So the Warriors.
We've seen New York back in the 90s blow a 3-1 lead after Charlie Ward got slammed by P.J. Brown. But that's neither here or there. The Heat came back and ended
That is
up
true.
ended up winning that series. We saw the Heat. I believe it was wasn't last year, but they went up against the Bucks. They were down 3-1, and they were able to come back. It might have been the year that they went to the championship. The bubble.
Yeah.
They were able to do it. So it's possible, right?
Absolutely. It ain't over till it's over.
So the reason why I say that it is more than likely going to happen, and when I get to my next, when we talk to the next, the Lakers and the and the Warriors, I think what's missing from the NBA right now, with all the player movement, is real rivalries. The Knicks,
I think it's more personal rivalries than team rivalries.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think that the league badly wants that Knicks Heat rivalry, and they've got the opportunity.
Wait, so you telling me so you talking about the script that everybody always talks about?
I think it'd be good for the NBA. And I think that at some point that we might get a little league assistance to make sure that this goes 7.
I don't think that's the case. I think that I think we're gonna have now Boston and Philly may go 7. I hope Philly closes them out in Game 6.
So
but
let's start coaching there too, right?
In that series?
In that series
Okay.
too, because Joel Embiid has been playing like MVP.
Absolutely.
He is showing why he
James
is.
Harden.
Huh? Yeah,
So
James Harden has been playing well too. And it appears that Boston has no answer, right? So you got our favorite guy, Doc Rivers. You've been a realist when it comes to Doc Rivers.
And I like Doc Rivers.
You like Doc Rivers. I met Doc Rivers once. Very, very, very nice guy. So I want to like him. You know what I mean? Because I met him and he seemed like a nice guy, and I like a lot of what he stands for. But the reality is when he's up 3-1, there is no coach with a worse losing record in NBA history. And, Doc Rivers has time and time and time and time and time and time and time again figured out how to mess up a good thing.
Yeah.
And, the story and the narrative, and I think we really got to say this is Philadelphia's best opportunity to go to a championship. That team probably would not be the same next year or the year after it. Same with Boston, right? If Boston loses the series, we may very well not see that team the same.
Oh, they're not going to be the same. They're not going to be the same. And I think Jaylen Brown starts with Jaylen Brown. He's not going to be there next year, even if they win. I think Jaylen Brown he's at his point where he wants to be the 1A. He doesn't want to be a sidekick anymore. And it's kind of like Harden when he was in OKC. Excuse me, my bad. It's kind of like Harden when he was in OKC. He didn't want to be a 6-man anymore. And look what he was. He became a scoring champ. He was all NBA and MVP and all of these things. So
it's interesting, right? So when he was with OKC, and of course, I was never really an OKC fan, but I liked the team, right? I liked the way that it was constructed. And I felt that he should have never left. I wanted to see that team because at the time, they were on the brink of greatness. And I just felt like they were going to do it eventually. It was just they ran into Miami and it was their time. When he left, I was like, dang, man, he shouldn't have left. He should have stayed. And like to your point, when he got to Houston, he bought out. But it just goes to show you in the NBA that it's not so much of a talent gap.
Mhm.
It's more of an opportunity gap, man. If you get the right opportunity and you're in the right situation, you can do more. And to your point about Jaylen Brown and tie it back together is if you're thinking of yourself as a 1A guy and you think if you were the focal point, you could be doing the same thing that Jason Tatum is doing.
Yep.
You just have to play 1B. Then, yeah, it is time for you to leave and you can bet on yourself because guys nowadays, and it's a balance, right? You know, before it was all about chasing victories and chasing rings. And once you get that, then you get established your brand. Now you're starting to see kind of an even flow to where guys are thinking, what is better for my brand?
Right.
Do I sit here another 3 years and not reach my maximum potential with the Celtics by being a 1B person, or do I go somewhere else, become that 1A person, expand my brand and really showcase and bet on myself and do a little bit more?
So I'm because speaking of Boston and Jaylen Brown, is the thing is I think that he may they'll figure it out because if he makes one of these All NBA teams, he's eligible for the Supermax, and that that ultimately changes things because I think if you could get over 200 million, do you stay or do you go somewhere and just get 50 million less?
So he's slated to get, I believe, 256 million.
Yeah.
If he makes an All NBA team tonight, it is looking like he could possibly make the third team
or the second team,
just with his defense alone and what he's put up. Jason Tatum will be eligible for $318 million. So if you're Boston, you start to think, it's the back. But that's almost $600 million that you will have tied into those two players. If they don't get it done this series, and you start to look at, okay, a couple years ago when they had Kyrie and Kyrie was hurt, we all got sold on all the potential that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown had. Like, okay, give them some time, right? They made it to the championship last year. You looked and you said, okay, they're ready to take the next step. Do these guys have a little bit more to give? Or have they reached their maximum potential and you start looking, maybe we should pair them up with somebody else?
Yeah. That's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I do believe that they both make the All NBA team. I do the top 15 players in the league. I do. So let's go back real quick. Lakers and the Warriors, similar situation, 3-1, but you will want the Lakers. I know Laker fans want to close them out in 5, but I don't see me putting money down on a Lakers money line for Game 5.
I will be betting on the Warriors. So it's another thing. Go back to money grab, right? They want this series to be closed out in LA. It just makes a better Hollywood story.
Oh my!
For it to be closed out in LA. Right. The Warriors, I'll say this. My eyes are telling me they're done. I do believe the Lakers are going to win this series. I think what my eyes are telling me is somebody on Golden State is going to have to figure out how to step up.
Yeah.
I know we haven't really talked about it much. I know everybody else has been talking about it, but Jordan Poole, where is that brother at, man? I mean, well, I know where he's at. He's out there spending $500,000 on dates, but that's neither here nor there. But do what you want to do off the court, but we need you to show up.
Yeah, this man done disappeared. He got his money, and he's nowhere to be found. And it's bad, yo. It's bad because I want to say he averaged 20 during the season.
Yeah, he's down to averaging 12 now?
Yeah, he didn't score in the last game. He didn't score in Game 4. Clay had a bad game. Draymond was,
and that's becoming consistent too. I mean,
oh, he's cooked. Clay's cooked. Clay is cooked. Let's not do this. We're never gonna get Klay Thompson from 2018, 17, 16, 15. No, Clay is done. He's a shell of himself defensively. He never really was that athletic anyway, you know. So and offensively, he's ultimately just a spot up shooter, you know. I mean, and if he's not hitting, then I mean, it is what it is. So no, Clay is cooked. And I think that Clay, the only thing keeping Clay on the Warriors next year is Steph. I think if Steph wasn't there, they would get rid of Clay and Draymond. But Clay is cooked, man. It is what it is.
I think they want to show a little bit of loyalty
Absolutely.
to those guys.
As they should, but Draymond's probably out of here too. I mean,
well, if they lose, I mean, anything's possible. So we gotta give them. I gotta give them the same respect that I gave the Knicks to where it possibly could go 7, right? And I think most people, if you was to poll anybody outside of Knicks fans, and I was to take my fan hat off, more people would be inclined to say the Warriors have a better opportunity of it going 7 than the Knicks. I think that's the reality.
I mean, and they have the experience.
Right. They have the experience, and we just witnessed what Steph did in a game 7. You know, I mean,
50.
You know, we talk about 3-1s, and I didn't mention this. He came back from that Thunder team that we were just talking about. I don't believe they had James Harden, but the year before KD went to the Warriors, he came back from that team to
KD played like crap in Game 7.
Yeah. So you know, stuff. We do have to put some respect on his name to where he's going to have to play. But if they were to lose the series, and you look at Golden State, and you look at they've done a really good job, and why they've been able to create a dynasty is bringing in youth mixed with a sprinkle of veterans.
Yeah.
But at what point do you say we have to get younger at the 2? So we've given Jordan Poole his money. Does he slide into the starting lineup over Clay? Do we see what we can get for Clay? And then Draymond, I feel like Draymond is always going to be there. I think if they were to sit down with Steph and he was to give his honest opinion, he's going to keep Draymond over Clay.
I mean, well, I think so. I think Clay and Steph are tied at the hip for the most part. I'm almost, I don't want to say I'm almost certain, but I think that Poole is gone, especially after this postseason that he's had. He's going to be gone. I think they're giving him a little bit too much blame.
What do you think? You think they tried to trade him?
Absolutely. I think he'll be gone from the Warriors. I think DeAndre Ayton will be gone from the Suns. I think that now I do think that James Harden is gonna stay in Philly. I think that they're gonna go on a run. They may go to the championship, you know. And if they go to the championship, he's definitely staying in Philly.
And this, so I'll say this right now, and this is just my opinion, and I know people are going to disagree with this when they watch this. I feel like the NBA championship is up for grabs. You can make an argument that any of the 8 teams is left.
Whoa.
Any of them?
Not any of them.
So look, the Knicks are very unlikely to win the championship. We know that, right? And I'm not going to just insult, people's sports acumen or jeopardize my reputation as a sports guy and sit here and make that prediction, because it'll be absurd, right?
You win a bag though if you bet on it.
Yeah. But even that, I mean,
Mhm.
outside of $10, I don't really see myself even doing that. And that's just to be. I mean, you can be a fan, but
Yeah,
at
I got
some
you. I
point,
got you.
some point you gotta look at the big
Absolutely,
picture,
I got
right?
you.
But as a Knicks fan, I feel that if it was any year,
Mhm.
the way that our team is currently constructed, we have a better chance with the teams that are in the field. I don't feel like it's one dominant team
I agree there.
that, Philadelphia, let's say they get Boston up out of there. The Knicks end up beating the Heat with some miracle or whatnot. It's very possible. I mean, highly unlikely, but it's
You wishing on the star, buddy.
yeah, it's wishing on a
Yeah.
star, but I like our chances better than previous years. And I guess
That's
where
fair. No. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, because previous years I ain't even make the push.
well, I mean, previous years you had Milwaukee and you had like some of the teams that you had a Heat team that had the rotation players. Like this Heat team is playing without rotation players. They're missing Victor Oladipo. They're missing Tyler Hero.
That is true.
Like they're not the same Heat team that they were when they went to the championship. Now they're playing good. I'm not taking anything away from the players that are there, but you look at Boston. Boston's not as good as they were the year that they went to the champ.
I mean, really? I mean, Boston has pretty much the same team.
It is, but it's something different about this team.
Well, other than the coach, I think that. So I think that Missoula did a good job this year, but I don't think he really has the heartbeat of the players, or he knows the buttons to push like Udoka did. Udoka, I mean, Jason Tatum said that was his best coach ever, including Coach K. So I mean, clearly losing Udoka plays a part, right? Because coach literally just took you to the championship. Missoula's on that staff, but he probably has his own philosophies, that things that he wants to do that's a little bit different, and it may not vibe with the players on the team. But ultimately their team is literally the same as it was last year. I mean, Brogdon is with they added Malcolm Brogdon.
So what I see is they haven't been playing with the same defense of intensity as they did last year. And right now, unless he can come up with a game plan on how to slow down, I don't think he's going to stop Joel Embiid. This series is over.
What would you do?
He's got to play two bigs. He's got to figure out how to create.
So that's Williams and Horford?
Yeah, he's got to figure out how to get those guys more minutes. He's got to figure out how to not guard PJ Tucker, right? PJ Tucker is not he's not a threat, right? So he's got to figure out a scheme to where you can still self-check PJ Tucker,
right?
And maybe focus more attention on Embiid. What I've been seeing that they're doing, and what Embiid is doing is he's doing a good job of taking whatever the defense gives him. So they're freeing him up. James Harden is reading the defense, drawing the double team, kicking the Embiid, and Embiid, if they give him a shot at the free throw line, he's taking that shot. If he's got an opportunity to take his man, he's taking his man. If the three is open, he's taking the three, and he's reading the defense every time. He's making it look too easy. Like he's going out there like, you know what? You gonna give me this free throw? I'm gonna drain this free throw. So they've got to figure out how to confuse him and fix up their schemes. I know we got to get out of here, but Phoenix Suns.
So I think that series is going to 7. I think Suns win game 6. I think that goes to 7, and then gloves are off. So you got who you got winning that series?
My heart says the Suns. My eyes say Denver.
Yeah, I think Denver has been the better team the whole series. I had Denver. I had Denver So initially I had Denver going to the finals, but I've changed my mind. We'll talk about that when we get there. But I have Denver winning this series. I have LA winning the other series. They meet up. I got the Heat and I got Philly.
So I got the same, just minus the Heat on still continue to roll with my Knicks, but definitely got to get out of here.
Yeah, man. So all right, man. So by the time we get back, you know, we'll have all the details. So yeah, man. Good luck, Chuck. Oh wait, before we do go, I just want to give a shout out to D-Jack. I'm gonna give a shout out to Charles. You know, we do battlegrounds and we kind of had a tag team battle and we kind of put foot to ass. And I mean, it's unfortunate, man. You know, guys famous for spirals will spiral. Okay, you know, when you want to see a spiral, so let me know. We got proof of live spirals. You know, just duck for cover because it's coming hot and heavy, babe.
Nah, but you know, to that note, very important mentor told me sometime. He gave me some of the best advice I ever got. Boy. Right?
This is not gonna be good.
No, it is.
Okay.
He said, Scott, I know you're doing your best, but sometimes your best just isn't good enough. It just not. And sometimes it just is what it is, man. Your best is just not good enough. You could try your best, but it may not be in the cards for you. And you know, I always try to remember that hey, man, you can be doing your best, but it just isn't getting the job done. So,
and on that note, we out of here. This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Boy, Scotty B.
Poor guys.
We off the record. Anthony Adebayo. We off the record.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo, and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.